What's going on, people? Newcastle United versus Brighton. The preview, the big one, starting tomorrow. I'm just going to try and kill some time whilst I wait for these people that I've invited along to the stream to catch up and get along. But as a Newcastle United fan, it's been a very good start to the season. Obviously, big win against West Ham, and then that was followed up by a win against Blackburn in the Carabao Cup, and now we're through to the next round of that. So yes, a lot to discuss. The first member has joined, and I'm going to bring him in. Marv, how you doing, bro?
I'm doing well, bro. How are you?
I'm good. I was just, speaking to myself as I usually do, but I was just talking through like the week that we've had, the start of the season. We've had a decent start to the season, 2 wins. It's very rare.
Yeah, it's extremely rare. I heard Steve Bruce talking about one of the commentators said to him, or one of the journalists said, we haven't won 2 domestic games in like 100 years or something like that, or maybe it's 3 in a row.
Nah, it can't be 100 years. Nah,
that's what they said. That's what I said, but I need to double check that stat.
Oh dear! Oh, shout out to Andrew, locked in, bruv. I see you, bruv. Yeah, good, great to the start of the season. 2 wins, a very impressive win against West Ham, I must admit. Although people might say West Ham were poor, and then obviously Blackburn as well. I actually didn't get to watch the game because I'm not paying £10. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not paying £10 at all.
I was the same.
I'm not paying £10 to watch Newcastle versus Blackburn. But from what I saw, we won quite convincingly. Ryan Fraser got off the mark. So that's now 3 new signings off the mark on their debuts already. So it's looking like good business in the transfer window, isn't it?
Really so. I hate to mention, obviously the T word, but if we got Ryan Fraser, Jamal Lewis and Callum Wilson during that time, you would have taken that at the time. So from that point of view, realistic signings, really good. I remember us talking before, and Jamal Lewis especially is the left back that I wanted us to get, where you can already see in this day and age you need an athletic fullback. He's bombing up and down, and he played quite well in his debut, and he's just going to get better. And you could just see the difference with an out-and-out striker, Callum Wilson. I could tell it's the eye test, isn't it? You could tell within 5 minutes because you have Joe Linton back in up front in Blackburn. You could just see the difference.
Yeah, huge difference. It just goes to show what happens when we actually recruit right. Do you know what I mean? Like it's the first time in a long while where we've actually recruited correctly. We've actually got an out-and-out left back. None of this kind of borrowed and begged and stealed from other places. Do you know what I mean? And we've just gone and got a proper left back. Then we've gone and got a proper striker, which you can see the difference between the two. I mean, as I said, I didn't watch the Blackburn game but what I saw on social media, the moans and groans about Joe Linton being back in the side compared to, Callum Wilson's amazing on the weekend. It's just like light years apart. So that's what happens. And then now we've got strength and depth in the midfield area where we've got Ryan Fraser we can bring in. We brought in Miggy Almiron as well, who again got the 2 assists in 2 games. And it's just everything that seems right with the world as well. So again, maybe we don't need a takeover. It would be nice to have a takeover, but sometimes we don't need to have a takeover. Sometimes we just need to have correct, smart business. And a guy who can tell us about correct, smart business is Mr. Fumbi. What is going on, my brother?
What's cracking? What's going on, lads?
How's it going?
Hey.
Good?
All good, all good. I had another message here from Andrew. Shout out to Andrew saying, you've done better business than Man United. I mean,
that's not hard.
I mean, it's not hard. You know what I mean? They've only gone to sign Donny van de Beek or whatever his name is. They still can't get Sancho over the line. So, yeah, I think we actually have. I think second to Chelsea, I'm going to put my neck out there. Second to Chelsea, I think we've done the best business actually in the Premier League. Second to Chelsea. You can shake your head all you want. What's going on, Dino, bro? What are you shaking your head for?
Hey, Liverpool about to wrap up Jota.
Who? Nah, listen.
Jota from Wolves. Just going Thiago.
It's livening up now. Everyone's.
Are they signing him or going to sign him?
They're going to sign Diego Jota, yeah.
Nah, listen. They've got enough players as is. Let them just have Thiago and that's it.
Nah, they see what Chelsea done and they're saying, nah, fam, we're not going out like that.
I'll take Origi on loan.
I mean, I'll take Brewster on loan. You're about Origi. I'll take Brewster and Origi. Do you know what I mean? But whether we'll sign another player or not.
I would like to get Sarri, man, but Man United going for him.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't know about all that. But yeah, how you been for me, man? Obviously, we just talked about the Blackburn game briefly. Obviously, I didn't watch it. I don't know. I don't think you watched it either. But we're through to the next round. Yeah,
that game looked trash. I fell asleep watching the highlights.
Oh gosh!
This was a game, man. This was it was a good pass from Miggy to Fraser. It was a good finish as well. Nice for him to get a bit of confidence. But yeah, it looked like a slug, fam.
Yeah, I mean, look, it looked like a slug. We had half our team rested, which we can actually do now. Now that we've got other players, we can actually rest players. And yeah, we're through to the next round. So all is right with the world. I think we've got. Is it Morecambe we got next in the next round? I'm not too sure. We've got a next round. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't check.
And then not looking too far ahead, but if we beat them, Newport or Watford after that.
Hey, the dizzy heights of Watford. Oh my god. Right, gonna bring Pistol Pete back into the stream. How you doing, bro?
Not too bad. Not too bad. How you doing, boys?
Doing well. How are you?
Yeah,
like
good,
Pete.
man.
Good,
Yeah, man.
good,
And
good.
sorry, I'm a bit late. I had to have a quick munch before I came on, so apologies.
No worries. We're just talking about this glorious week that we've had as well. And we've got an early shout out for you, Marv. Keith is saying, "Evening all, welcome back, Marv." So
Tell him cheers, mate.
there you go,
Thank
Keith.
you.
There you go. Yeah, Pete, we were just talking about the glorious week that we've had. You know, big win against West Ham. I suppose big win against Blackburn in the Carabao Cup. We're flying at the moment, bro.
We've got to enjoy these weeks. There's not very often we get back-to-back wins, so we've got to enjoy it for what it is. And winning breeds confidence. Doesn't matter who's in the starting lineup, who's in the squad. It breeds confidence. So we should be going into Sunday full of confidence that we can cause Brighton some upsets. And we in Brighton, we owe them one. Our performances at home to them in the last couple of years since we got in the Premier League has not been good enough. So we definitely owe them one.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I suppose now we're going into this game against Brighton with 2 wins under our belt. Like, how do we approach this? Do we approach it like the West Ham way, or do we go about it with Blackburn way? Because Pete, I think you're the only one out of us, correct me if I'm wrong, Marv, that's actually watched the game against Blackburn. So was there any standout performers from there? Did Fraser warrant a start in the first team?
2 standout performers for me. Almiron was fantastic, and Ryan Fraser was brilliant as well. And actually, they were brilliant together. Those two were the clear differences between the 2 squads. Bearing in mind, Blackburn had one of the youngest squads ever out there. They were the 2 differences. So they're the 2 that really are pushing for me. I don't think Fraser's ready yet. I think by 60 minutes he was blowing. He's not played since March, so it's understandable he needs time. So I imagine he'll have a few games off the bench before he's actually starting games for us. So Almiron's probably be the closest because he actually played really well. He's got 2 assists now. He got 1 against West Ham, 1 against Blackburn, and the 1 against Blackburn, the reverse pass through to Fraser was fantastic. He's the only one on the pitch that would have been able to see that sort of pass, to be honest. So yeah, Almiron definitely the one pushing the most for me, and then I suppose Gillespie really. I mean, Gillespie he shouldn't have had to make some saves, but he did, and he made some good saves. He was commanding his area, but although I don't rate him, Darlow actually played all right against West Ham. So if you're playing well, it's your position to lose. So I would stick with Darlow.
Okay. Boys, from being Marv, like just hearing that, is there any other changes that you guys will make going into this game against Brighton at all?
Yep, take Carroll out now.
Oh wow!
What's he done?
Take him out and put Miggy in. He's on it. He's on J.O. He came off the bench insulted about. Man forgot about me.
But what?
To let them know. And by the way, that assist, yeah,
I think you've got to give
see it myself because the way he went into the box, he bundled over the guy, and his head was down. As soon as he picked his head up, he just picked out Hendricks. I was just like, what? Yeah. That's a Zidane move right there.
Oh, you love hyping up these players, mate. Oh,
I can see why he started Carroll though.
I had to blink twice, rude boy. So take Carroll out. Give us some mobility, man. Give us some movement. Like Carroll's good, but we lump it up to him for the knockdowns, and I just don't like it. I want to see movement. I want to see running off the shoulders. I want to see flicks.
I can see why he started Carroll because West Ham did us last season with set pieces, and the number of clearances that he made was really important. But I agree for me in terms of this game. I actually think Brighton are going to have a lot of possession of the ball. Even Steve Bruce mentioned it in the press conference. So I think it'll be a lot of counter attack. I'd start Ryan Fraser on the bench, but yeah, Almiron to come in, and I think we're going to hit them on the counter. And hopefully we'll just be more clinical because we haven't scored against Brighton since we both came back up to the Premiership. So, yeah, I'd start Almiron as well. And I'd bring Carroll in probably the second half. But, yeah, just need to... I think most of the teams we play will have possession of the ball. So it was good playing Carroll in that specific game against the more physical sides. But the nippier passes, eventually if we can get Fraser, Almiron and saint-maximin behind Wilson, then you're starting to look quite tasty. So
quite sick.
About it.
Yeah, so he made some valid points there. I mean, Keith said that Newcastle is surely due for a win against Brighton. Newcastle haven't beaten Brighton in 6 games since the 2-1 away win in the Championship. Remember that? Yes, I do remember that, mate. I was actually at that game.
Good first score in that game.
No, it wasn't that one.
No. Perez
and Diame.
The wonder goal by Diame.
the dodgy Diame flick that cannoned off him and went in.
Wonder goal.
Wonder goal, Pete says. Yeah, wonder goal. But yeah, like, I don't know. Brighton's, it's one of those ones where you're thinking, could they turn us over? Could we turn us over? Like, West Ham, I went into it confident. With Brighton, don't know. Not too sure. I mean, they've got the likes of, who they signed? Lallana.
He's injured.
Oh, he's injured. In fact,
he went off injured against Chelsea.
Of course,
I didn't actually watch that game. I didn't watch the game, but they talked about the fact that he went off injured, and it seemed to be some sort of muscle injury in the second half. So, look, muscle injuries, unless he's like a magician, I don't think he'll play. And it's just coming across the screen now. Ben White also went off in that game, and they had to finish the game 10 men or something like that. Something along those lines. I can't remember. But both of those players are not likely to play. So that strengthens us because
that's great.
Lallana would epitomise the style of football that Brighton play on the ground, like passing style football.
Bro, before you get into it, 2 players I'm shocked that they have got rid of, and maybe you can talk about this more, Pete, is that they got rid of Moy. He's gone to China, I believe, and they got rid of Glenn Murray as well. So they've gone down a similar, a different route by the looks of it.
Well, Graham Potter didn't rate Murray, so as soon as Graham Potter came in, Glenn Murray didn't kick a ball. Under Houghton, Glenn Murray played quite a lot of football, and to be fair, he scored some goals whilst under Houghton. But Graham Potter clearly doesn't want to play that long ball up to the striker type football, and he epitomizes that like a lot of players would, that target man. So I'm not surprised. He literally, towards the end of last season, he wasn't even in some squads. He was sitting in the stands. So it doesn't surprise me that Glenn Murray's gone. Who was the other one again?
Aaron Moy, the Australian midfielder.
That did surprise me. But the fact that he's gone to China says everything. It's purely about money. It's about money. It's about money, and locality-wise, China is a lot closer to Australia, which is that's a
Fumbi move. That is. I know Fumbi would definitely take that China money. He should be on that plane. Like, where am I going? Where? Okay, that team, right? Cool.
But you know the irony of that everyone goes to China for money. Everyone comes to the Prem for money.
I mean,
it's the bag.
But the China's next level money. China's next level money. For the type of player they are.
For everybody, you have to be a star to get that money. They're not giving that money to Danny to drink water.
I remember.
Surprised.
Look at Asamoah Gyan. Remember Asamoah Gyan?
Yeah.
He went to all the countries that have got big money. I think he went to China first. Then he ended up
He went to Saudi Arabia,
That's
Arab
it.
countries.
Yeah,
Okay. There we go. He was getting that bag, boy.
Yeah, but remember, he was 36 at the time.
No, he wasn't. Stop lying.
That's not what his passport says.
28 going on 36.
No, you're lying for me. Stop.
Think of his future.
Nah, you can't do that. You weren't 36, man. Nah, you're lying.
You're
trying to make it over Femi Martins.
Yeah, they're in a committee.
The Oscar for Chelsea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was 26 years old and actually playing regularly in the Chelsea team. And he went for the money.
He was trash. That's why.
he was a decent player, man.
He was all right.
Hype, Joe. You know those Brazilians that just caught hype, and because he was Brazilian, we just thought he was going to be techers. He was trash.
Oh, man.
We don't have any players like that, though, do we?
No, we don't have any trash Brazilians. No.
Kennedy. Hey, listen. When you see a Brazilian as a left back, you know it's a long day.
Yeah. Well, you look at our ex number 9, Solomon Rondon. My man's on 250 grand a week over there. You know what I mean? There's no way any Premier League team's paying him that. There's no way any other European league are paying him that. I'm sorry. Like he did a great job for us, and I was gutted that he left because I wanted him to stay. And to be fair, to stay in the Premier League, I think like he was wanting from Wolves and from us 150 grand a week, which nobody was willing to pay. But he's on 250 grand a week to play in that league. That's the issue. That is the issue right there.
Mad.
250 grand a week. I played in the New Zealand league, group boy.
There you go. That's it.
So since that we last spoke, obviously we played Blackburn, but we've also had some other news. We've moved on a player or two. We've moved on Mutu, who's gone to Ibar, I believe, and Lejeune is obviously he's gone on as well. Obviously, I know you guys will be over the moon, especially Fumbi. I know he's a big Mutu fan, but I know he's crying inside. But how do we need to replace these guys, or are they literally just trimming down the squad? Thoughts, guys?
First of all, if you're gonna be the bearer of bad news, just say it with your chest in it. You didn't mention Atsu was on that list of gone, and you just
he's not gone yet.
Carried on.
He's not gone yet.
Like it's nothing.
He's not gone yet. He's still there. He's still collecting it. He's still collecting a big change.
I want to hear, fam. Mutu and then I want to hear Atsu has gone.
No, listen. When Atsu's gone, we're getting party poppers out for you, bro. We know full well that you that's the one you want to see gone.
It's an insult that Mutu got to wear the Newcastle jersey. Seriously, it's an insult.
Nah, he wasn't that bad, bro. He scored against Man United, bro. He scored against Man United.
What did he sign him for?
He scored against Man United, bro. Come on.
So? We lost that game.
I know we lost that game.
It don't count. When we lose the game, we don't remember it.
What do you mean? He's got the match ball on his wall. You're on about?
He was terrible. He was shocking. He's worse than Abby.
I was listening to something the other day about Mutu that made me laugh. In fact, I was listening today on the way to work. One of the Everything Black and White podcast or whatever it was, and they were talking about Mutu. Obviously, because it was a couple of days ago, and it was on the verge of leaving. They were talking about how Japanese media come all the way over from Japan just to watch him play, and he never plays. And he's still, and at the end of the game, regardless of whether he's played or not, he does the longest press conferences than any other player or manager. He's there for like 20 minutes, half an hour, talking about the game that he's not even played in.
Oh, no way.
Wow. We're doing him dirty, man. So we just tried to do, we tried to sign him to get shirt sales, innit? That's what I think. That's how I feel. Like, I think we tried to do like you know how Son's idolised at Tottenham? We tried to do it, but it just backfired, didn't it? That's what we tried to do, innit?
Nah, fam, that was terrible.
It's poor recruitment and poor organisation from the top brass. Because look, it was a Rafa signing, and Rafa's had a couple of bad signings. He doesn't get a free pass with any of this. He's made some fantastic signings with the club, some of them are still here, but he's also made a couple of bad ones as well. And that was one of them. However, it was very, very clear that summer that the only striker that he wanted in was Chicharito. But he needed to get that deal done early because Chicharito wanted that move sewed up so he was ready for pre-season. He was £12 million, right? And he as you know, he's the natural poacher, natural goal scorer in the box. And he wanted to come to us. Mike Ashley would not sanction it. Why? Because the guy was 30, 31. So it didn't happen. He ended up going to West Ham and playing second and third fiddle. We then later on in the market have to settle for Muto purely because of his age. And that's we can blame Rafa Benitez because he was on his list, although further down on his list. But equally, the scouting team and Mike Ashley and the top brass need to be taking responsibility for that because it's happened time and time again. The first choice guys and not wanted for various reasons, whether it's age, whether it's cost, whether it's wages. And so we always have to settle for third, fourth, fifth choice. Atsu was one of them in the Championship too. You know what I mean? And we've always settled for those players. Why? Because Mike Ashley doesn't want to sign the top choice for whatever reason. This summer has been the anomaly where it hasn't happened.
Yeah, I won't have a bad word said about my chairman, Pete. He's done a stellar job in pre-season. I'm actually chatting shit to Liverpool fans now, talking about my signing. So please put some respect on my chairman's name, Pete.
Fumbi, we've got some more good news for you. Apparently, Keith is a fan of yours. So Keith said, Fumbi, I really enjoyed your Black and British comedy special. I watched it a few months ago. It cheered me up during lockdown. So
wow.
I appreciate that, Keith. I appreciate that, man.
All right. Go on,
Shout out to Keith.
Shout out to Keith, bro. We got another player that we potentially could be getting rid of, DeAndre Yedlin. Apparently, he's going to Besiktas, so he's going out and getting that Turkish though.
Is it a long thing?
I
heard it's a free transfer, which is
permanent.
Yeah, get him out the door, bro.
Look, sorry, he's got a year left on his contract. We ain't getting anything more than 1 or 2 million for him. With a year left on his contract, we signed him before.
Decline, though.
Sorry,
it's a sad decline, man. I kind of liked Yedlin.
Yeah, but all he had is pace, bro. That's all he had. All he could do is just run up and down. He ain't got no techers, bro.
His positional sense is awful.
You're right. No, Marv's is spot on.
Terrible.
Like he's an attacking fullback who can get forward and cause problems going forward with his pace. Defensively and positional wise, he's shocking. But for me, this is the kind of thing that we need to do as a Newcastle squad and a Newcastle team. We've got players there that have stayed at the club for too long. Atsu, Mutu, Sarve, Lazar. You know, you've got Yedlin, for example. You've got players like that have just stayed in and around the team for too long that need to be moved out. We need to start transitioning out completely that Championship squad and start bringing in a fresh group of players that are hungry and want to play. Now, we've been linked with the right back for Atletico Madrid. I think he's in.
Have we been linked with a fullback? I didn't think we'd get a replacement.
Today we were linked with I can't pronounce the name, Aris, I think it is. Fantastic attacking right back. He's a little bit older, but he's a talent, and he's been talked about like 13 or 14 million euros, I think, to sign him. And that, I'm not saying that's going to happen, but that's the type of player that we need to bring in. Someone that's well renowned and who's got a bit of quality about him to come in and replace the likes of Yedlin. And if that was to happen in transition, nobody would care that Yedlin's gone. Everyone would be happy with what's happening there. And at that point, I'd even loan out Kraft. And I'd just loan him out this season. And then you've got Manquillo, you've got Aris, or whoever comes in at right back. You've got Dummett, Jamal Lewis, and then you've got your centre-backs. And that's your defence sorted. You've got options there. And you've got quality options.
Well, I mean, to be fair, I can't really. At first, I was kind of thinking, is this all we're going to do? Just sign for Jeff Hendrick from Burnley, like we're getting Burnley rejects. But so far, like we've done all right. You know, the likes of Wilson coming in, the likes of Ryan Fraser coming in, and even like we've now been linked with some what's he, Venezuelan, Paraguayan, some guy from South America, right?
He's Peruvian.
There we go. I was getting there in the end. I was getting close. Nobby Solano's love child, apparently.
Recommended by him.
There we go. I mean, if he's been recommended by Nobby Solano, he can't be far off. But apparently, red clothes means Liverpool fans. So shout out to Marvin Fumbi. Like they're kind of leaving us, Pete, and they're now joining the Scouse side. Do you know what I mean?
I'm happy about this.
So is that what it's about then? Yeah, boys. Is that what it's about then, boys?
All right. The baller, we're going.
Oh, all right. So you see Thiago, Marvin, you getting gas, so now that's it. Liverpool side.
I've forgotten about Hendrick. I'm so over Hendrick's debut goal. It's all about Thiago now.
Listen, Fumbi is always going to leave. Fumbi is always going to leave. He's always looking where that Kai Havertz signing is. You know what I'm saying? That's where he's off to.
If he will never leave Newcastle, it will never be Liverpool. I can't stand Liverpool.
We've got another question from Keith. Keith is asking about what's the views on the new signers Nick DeMarco QC and Shahid Fatima QC and the court case against the Premier League. I mean, Pete, this is more of a question for you, mate, because I've decided to kind of just put the blinkers on and not even pay attention to that stuff. So if you know anything more, feel free to get involved, bro. This is your expertise.
For me, it's a warning shot. It's a warning shot. Lots of expressions of tanks on the lawn, ready to go to war, and that's basically what it is. What Mike Ashley's saying, because what Mike Ashley has done is basically there's been a lot of talk over the last couple of weeks that just before the week that Mike Ashley brought that statement out, so he brought it out on the Wednesday or the Thursday, can't remember exactly what day, but there was talk that on the Tuesday of that week that they were actually extremely confident that they were going to get the yes on that week in the run up to the season starting, and that's how confident they were. But then, basically, they've all got back round the table again. This is what it seems like anyway. They've all got back round the table again. They've resubmitted things, and it turns out that the Premier League have turned around and said exactly what they said before, that they basically don't believe it. So Mike Ashley has effectively took that as a rejection and is now saying, right, with the QCs coming in, is saying, right, we're going to court. You're restricting my trade. You're restricting my trade of my 300 million to sell this club. You've got a willing buyer. You've got a willing seller. You're restricting that. Therefore, I want in court for it to be proven that you have rejected this deal and it to be out there, because once that deal is officially rejected or accepted, they can get to the next stage. If it's officially accepted, we've got new owners. If it's officially rejected, they can then appeal that based on the facts that they've already given, because they've already given enough proof that Mohammed bin Salman and the government are not the same entity as PIF, which is the main issue. It's not necessarily about piracy as much now. It's not about human rights or anything else before that. It's about proving, to get to the next stage, is about proving that PIF are not the same as the Saudi government. That's the key. And that's what Mike Ashley wants to get through. And they're really confident that this will happen. Now, the guys, I think it's Blackstone that are taking on the case. I don't think they've ever lost. That's how good they are. They are like the top sports lawyers. So for them to be taking this case, they must be confident that there's a case there. So it's either to put their tanks down on the lawn, as it's been said, to say, right, we're going to war if you don't sort this out properly, or it's a warning shot to say, we're going for this, do something about it. And they're hoping that the Premier League jolt and do something in response. So, look, it's not going to be anything that's going to be done anytime soon. This will roll on beyond Christmas. We've got no doubts into the new year, the calendar new year. Got no doubts about that. But this is just the next phase.
Right. So, Keith, that's your question answered. We're not going to talk about takeover anymore because we don't really care about it anymore. You know, we're doing all right now. We're doing all right. We're shopping in Gucci, man. We're eating lobster. You know what I mean? We've got 2 wins out of 2. We've got saint-maximin flying. We've got Carol doing bits, as Fumbi would like to say. You know, we're doing all right. So takeover talk done.
You know,
right.
I hope it flops before the next transfer window so we get some more good players in.
For me, the bearer of great news, bro. Yeah. To be honest, I wouldn't mind another window like this. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't have to be extravagant big signings or the rest of it.
No,
it just needs to be
all.
smart signings. We need a left back, we got a left back. We need a striker, we got a striker. Oh, he's available free. Oh, we'll have him as well. That is it. Smart signs. I don't really care about the big takeovers and Thiago and listen. Give me a Jeff Hendrick any day, bro. I mean,
it's always been the same though. It's always been the same. Like this is all we've ever wanted is smart signings that are going to improve the squad bit by bit. That's all we've ever wanted. But this is the thing: is that a smart signing is not. And I'm not going to use Joelinton as an example because that's an easy example. But a smart signing is not signing someone with potential that could actually become good, but also it's a risk and pay a small fee for. Like you want someone like a Callum Wilson, for example, someone that's proven at this level that can do the business. We could have done this 2 years ago and gone and got Danny Ings in, who was proven. You know what I mean? We could have had him on loan with a view to buy. We were in there sniffing. If we really wanted it, we could have done it, right? There are other players out there that we've missed out on. Gerald Bowen, for example. Look, I'd take Fraser over Bowen all day long because I think Fraser's a much better player, in my opinion, and only a year or two older. That's just my opinion. But we could have gone out and got Gerald Bowen, and that still would have been a smart signing. And there's others. If you go back down the list over the last even 2 or 3 years, there's players that we've missed out on that you think, how have we not signed them?
Yeah, we won't go that far back. We could go back as far back as Lacazette and Aubameyang could have been signing for us, bro.
Yeah, look,
we'll forget about it.
But there's that many examples. You'd only need to go back a couple of years with how many we've missed out on.
Yeah, I mean, shout out to Johnny Greenwood from Newcastle Fans TV. I think you should join the stream. Yeah, we would discuss Yedlin, about selling Yedlin. We all think it's a good idea. I think it is a good idea. Yeah, we have all said it's a good idea, I'm sure.
As long as they sign another right back, it's definitely a good idea.
I mean, yeah, let's get on to that. Do we spend more money realistically? Or, do you know what I mean? Because I feel like now we're just getting rid of players just to trim down that squad to get it down to 25. What's your thoughts, guys?
To be fair, I think we will need cover at right back. I mean, unless you're going to pay Crafts. I don't have an issue with Crafts, but I don't think people like him too tough. But if they think they're going to go with Crafts, then so be it. But I would like to see a right back. I'd like to see a left back come in, to be honest with you, because after I've seen Jamal Lewis play, I'm not feeling Dummett style of football no more. I need that Roberto Carlos type. My taste buds
I've always said this about Dummett, bro. Dummett's always got a nose for you every single time he gets over the halfway line. He can't push forward, man. We need that new age fullback. You know, Liverpool's got it, Leicester's got it, Chelsea's effectively got it.
Do you know the funny thing?
We've got it. We've got it now.
Remember that game? Remember last season, the game against Sheffield United, and we scored that. Shelby scored that goal because they thought it was offside.
Yeah,
Dummett's the one that played the lovely pass to Carroll where he got the flick on, so he can actually pass the ball.
I'm sure he can. Listen, I'm sure he can pass the ball. He's a professional footballer, but at the same time,
no, you know what I mean. Though. He can actually pick a pass.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, getting forward, like. You want players to bomb forward. Your fullbacks effectively working as wing backs, essentially, or wingers. Do you know what I mean? I mean, that's what we want. I mean, Johnny suggested Max Aarons. I rate him.
100%.
I would have him all day long and twice for Christmas. Patrick, who?
Van Holt.
The left back.
We're talking right backs, bro. We need right backs, bro.
Right.
Van Holt.
Yeah, Van Holt.
This is a bit of a left wing one, but there's a player up in Scotland that's going to Bologna. It's a really young kid called Aaron Hickey, but he's got like the potential of honestly like a Tierney or Robertson, and just as backup like these young up and coming players. 1.8 million he's going for, but he's a really really decent player, both-footed, young fullback, and I think he's off to Bologna. But little bargains like that, I think. Sheffield United got one from Derby as well. He's already gone. Is Bogle, I think his name is.
Bogle's
players,
there's
young fullbacks around. Yeah, there's young fullbacks around. But Aaron would be great. Yeah, go. What are you going to say?
I was going to say Aaron Hickey is a fantastic young. I think he's only like 19. He's actually predominantly a left back, but can actually play equally as good as right back, so he could cover equally efficiently at both sides. Because, like you said, he's both-footed. He's a fantastic option.
2 million, you can't go wrong.
The one thing I was going to say about Dummett, though, the only reason we've not shifted him out is because he comes under our homegrown quota. Because he came through the academy, and you need at least four of them within your squad of homegrown. You can have 8 players that have played in the Premier League or played in England over time. We've got a shed load of them. You've got your Shelbys, Haydens, your Clarks, you've got all of them. But you need the 4 homegrown quotas. You've got Carroll, you've got the 2 Longstaffs, you've got Dummett. Is there any others?
Would Gillespie count now?
Well, this is the thing. I'm not sure, because I'm not sure he released. If he went before he signed a professional deal with us, then I don't think he counts. But you have to be in the youth team for 3 years, so I don't think he does count. And this is the thing. So we've got 4 at the moment. You take Dummett out, you've only got 3, and then you've got to bring an academy guy in. So maybe Barlaser would probably count as 1 right now, but he's likely to be loaned out. So this is the only reason for me why Dummett's still in the team, because I think he would have been sold on last year, in my opinion. And I think eventually he will get sold on.
I mean, Andrew's trying to offload Victor Moses to us. I'm not too sure about that, man. Maybe about 5 years, guys. I'll take Victor Moses, but not now.
Not if we're playing a back 4.
Shaqib makes a good point. He doesn't know what our best lineup is or formation is. Says he's excited by the transfer so far. I mean, Fumbi, talk to me about this. 4-2. Who? What?
So 4, 2 in the midfield, 3, and then 1 up front.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, Rafa.
Isaac Hayden and John Joe Shelby all day. Miggy in the middle, Fraser and Saint-Maximin, and what's his name? And Muto up front.
Would you say Mutu again?
Yeah.
I was about to say preach, brother, until you said Mutu.
Did you say? Have you brought Mutu back on a plane or something? What have you done?
I'm joking, man. Callum Wilson up front.
Callum Wilson is the guy. He's our savior, bro. That's all I can say. Callum Wilson is that guy.
Lascelles and Fernandez? Manquillo, I'm kind of warming to, you know.
Manquillo starts, man. I like him.
And then Lewis on the other side.
We haven't got no one else. Let's face it. Do you know what I mean? We're strapped for options.
Like Lewis or Dummett.
Yeah. I'm about to make Lewis captain.
What?
That's how much he gassed me.
He was my number 1 target at left back. Like realistic.
I mean, look, I'm impressed by Lewis. Out of all the signings, obviously Wilson gets all the glory and stuff like that. But Jamal Lewis definitely just impressed me.
That's the thing, though. Wilson doesn't get. It's Jamal Lewis, bro. We got a talent. Like Callum is here and bless him. But we actually signed a prospect.
I thought other teams were gonna come in and snatch him.
We beat Barcelona, Madrid, and Bayern Munich to the.
Nah, start gassing it.
That's why we're wearing red, because we beat Liverpool too.
When we pass it out now, when we's in this silly mood about flipping Bayern Munich and all the rest of it, he's going to start singing.
We outbid Madrid for that signature. Are you not?
He's gonna start singing. He's one of our own now, isn't he? As well.
His grandma supports Newcastle.
I've never seen him play, but everyone was gassing, saying, "What a signing!" That night when I watched him, I was like, "Bro, we signed a player."
Yeah, I'm still surprised at the signing. I really am. Because that's exactly the type of signing, exactly the type of price that we should be looking at. And, you know, traditionally we haven't done it. So the fact that we were linked and then we actually went and did it was a surprise, because you had the left back from Greece, you had Ruggiero from Sassuolo in Italy, and we had a couple of other left backs that were a lot cheaper and a lot more easily accessible in terms of signing. And that's normally the way to go, and that's normally the way it actually goes. So it was a pleasant surprise that we got that deal. But for me,
it was a Leicester sort of signing, wasn't it?
Yeah, of course, because Leicester were linked with him, and like living in Leicester myself, a lot of Leicester fans they're gutted. I know they've got a good left back anyway, in the guy that signed from Atlanta, but they're genuinely actually gutted that they didn't get Jamal Lewis, because they wanted him. Liverpool fans wanted him as a backup to Robertson. They wanted him in their teams. So the fact that we've then gone and got him like left field is a massive coup.
Really
But
good.
for me, I have to say, look, we've got a fantastic prospect in Jamal Lewis, and he's going to hopefully go on to be a fantastic player. But we don't move up that table unless we score goals. So for me, Callum Wilson is the signing for me because he's a genuine guy that can score goals. We haven't had that for a long time. We haven't had that. You could probably go back to, Demba Ba, and Papi Cisse. That season we finished 5th. We haven't had a genuine threat to goal since, up until now. It's a long time, 8 years. That's a long time.
He's faster than I thought as well. Watching him,
he's fast. He's
quick.
Fast, and he can link the play. He's got tricks on him as well. He can pull a player
temperament
out
as well.
He has, but he's got that hunger to get into the box. You don't want to be running channels all day long. Huh?
That's exactly it, Pete. What you said. He's going to be in the box. Like once they break in the play and we're going on the attack, you're not going to get to the end and be like, oh, where's Callum? He's going to be waiting for a ball into the box.
I think
he's never had.
Listen, Joe Linton's been there a year and he still can't find the box, man. I don't know if he even knows. He needs to get a sat nav out to find the box.
Like, Joe Linton hasn't got that killing instinct.
Joe Linton doesn't eat cereal because he can't find the box.
Hey. Are you going to be taking Fumbi's job? Wait, Mom's taking Fumbi's job with them jokes, man.
He just doesn't have the killer instinct. Like, he doesn't sniff the goal. Do you see what I'm saying? Callum Wilson he's that greedy kid in secondary school. Like, pass, man. Like, he just wants to bang it in.
He was like, I don't want to be associated with 8 goals. Joe Linton's like, 8?
Exactly.
How do I get to those lofty heights?
but this is the thing, like with Callum Wilson, he is genuinely pissed off if you don't give him the ball in the box. He wants that ball. Everything that went down the left in the first half, everything went in the box, not to Andy Carroll, wasn't lumped up into the air with the hope that he'd get on the end of it. It was drilled in a position where Wilson could try and get on the end of it, try and flick it in. He had a couple of chances, and then eventually got his reward for that. And that's what I'm looking forward to seeing. I'm looking forward to seeing how the likes of Shelby, how the likes of Saint-Max, and when Almiron and Fraser play, how they're going to find him in the box and how they're going to create for him. Because, he's got the potential to score goals this season. With that creativity, he didn't have all of that creativity at Bournemouth. He didn't have all of that. He had Jordan Ibe on the wing. You know what I mean? He didn't have saint-maximin. He didn't have saint-maximin and Ryan Fraser. He didn't have saint-maximin and Ryan Fraser and Miggy Almiron. You know what I mean? He didn't have any. He didn't have all of that to play off. He's got that now, and that's the reason why he signed for us. And he said that he weighed up the squads between Villa and us and saw where he was going to get the creativity from. He knew he was going to get it from Jack Grealish, fine, but nowhere else in the team was going to provide it. We've got options. He's going to get hopefully service left, right, and centre. For me, he's the signing. He's the one that can make the difference this season.
The goal he scored as well. Like I said it last time, but Joe Linton's just not there. He just wouldn't have been there. It'd have been a flick on and the keeper would have caught it. But Callum was so sharp, and he's not even sharp yet, but he was so on it.
Yeah. Lewis put a couple in for him as well.
Yeah, he did. He put a couple in for him, Marv.
He was there in the near post poaching. Yeah.
The link up between Lewis and ASM is nice, bro.
I'm not happy with the treatment on ASM, though. What was going on?
It was a tactic.
It was
clear.
Shocking.
He should get used to that. He should get used to that. You don't announce yourself at a party that loud and not expect people to look at it.
I think they'll be rotated. I think ASM and Miggy will be rotated. I don't think we'll see all of those 3 names behind Callum Wilson in a while unless we're chasing the game. So I think it'll be either ASM or Miggy. I don't think we'll play ASM, Miggy, Fraser all together unless we're chasing the game 2-1 down or whatever. Just putting it out there. That's me thinking. Because
I think long-term he wants. Andy Carroll's going to start.
No, listen. I just think all them creative players. If we play them all in one team and from the start, then we haven't got no one to come off the bench. So again, one of them has to sit out, I think. And I think they will rotate between Miggy, ASM, and probably Fraser, because I don't think we can throw them all in unless we're chasing a game and we're like 2-1 down. We need a goal. We need some creativity. But that's just my way of thinking. I don't think we can.
With the games coming thick and fast, that's not the worst idea. You got Saturday, Tuesday, Sunday, Wednesday. Games are coming, rotating them around. Like that was the benefit from the Blackburn game where only Manquillo played, so they should be quite fresh. I was hoping Brighton were playing all theirs, but they rested all their players. So having this deep squad, you looked at the bench where you had Longstaff, Ritchie, Fraser, Almiron. Like you weren't seeing that last season, scraping the barrel. So
I mean, well for talent,
fit.
Well for talent. I mean, just going back to a couple of the comments that people mentioned. So Johnny talked about Callum Chambers, who was mentioned today. So possibly coming in to replace Lejeune. So we'll talk about it in a second. Danny Ings has been mentioned by David Waller. I think Pete, you brought him up earlier. And then Keith starts again about... Yeah, I know that one. And then Keith mentioned about Gillespie or Darlow. Who's your first choice Newcastle goalkeeper? Because obviously Dubravka's out injured at the moment. So we'll start with... should we start with Chambers first? Whether we possibly could bring him in.
He's dead food, man.
He's right.
I don't even know if you know who it is, bro.
Pete says it, yeah. Pete says, yeah. If we're gonna bring a player in, let him improve the squad. Where does Callum fit?
Okay.
Absolutely nowhere.
Okay, from B, say on your chest.
He don't bring nothing. He doesn't excite me. Federico Hernandez has set the standard. Are you a warrior for it? Like we got warriors in the back. I ain't got time for a guy who's trying to find himself. Nah, fam. It just doesn't excite me. Holding, I like the sound of Holding. Holding was on it. But Callum Chambers is looking for a home, and it's not here.
I like that. I like that a lot. That is
with that energy. See what 2 wins does to you back to back. Like we don't know Callum Chambers.
You don't start with flipping Ryan Fraser, bring man like Hendricks in, man like Wilson, and then reduce it to Callum. Nah, fam. You go higher.
You're absolutely right. Absolutely right. Is for me, Callum Chambers is not that's a poorer alternative to Rob Holding. Has actually played well for Arsenal, and there's a reason why they're keeping hold of him. The reason why they wanted to loan him out is because he had a bad injury. They want him, just like we've done with Florian Lejeune. We want him to go and have a season of playing regular football, and then bring him back into the squad and reassess him. That's what they wanted to do with Holding. But they've actually had their hand forced because of injuries to David Luiz and various other players. He played against Liverpool at Wembley for the Community Shield and actually played really well, and they won it. And that, for me, that's what's done the deal, really. That's what's kind of screwed us over because he played so well. Arteta's now said, let's keep him. And so he's probably going to stay now. For me, you've got a fantastic option there that's not even training with the first team at the moment, and that's Chris Smalling. You're going to have to pay a little bit for his wages, but I tell you what, people slate Chris Smalling. He's gone to Roma and absolutely bossed it over there, right, for a season or 6 months or however long he went. And actually, they were desperate to sign him, but Man U have just priced him out of a move. Now, he's back in training. But he's not even training with the first team squad. He's training on his own. Bring him in. He's better than what we've got. He'd get into the starting lineup. And actually, I could actually see him and Federico Fernandez partnering each other together and actually putting Lascelles out of the team. Because
you can't say that.
No, I could see it. I'm not saying it's going to happen. What I could see it. I could see them working as a partnership. I could also see him and Lascelles working as a partnership. But the reason why I'm saying that is because when Lascelles is not in the team, we haven't got a natural leader in that team. And we always crumble when he's not playing. But I could see him coming in and working well with Fernandez if Lascelles got injured. And it's still not changing things. That was a point that I was making.
Yeah,
you got him sitting there. We're going to have to pay a chunk of his wages because he's on 100 grand plus. But do we take the risk and get him in and have a quality centre-back come in and really lift the squad? There's an option there.
Okay, I like that. That's a good shout. We'll skip over the Danny Ings one because it's no chance he's going to come to us.
Yeah, apparently Spurs want him. Apparently Spurs are trying to get him.
I don't know. That's going to happen.
The thing is, with Danny Ings, we don't need him, to be honest with you. When I say we don't need him, when I say we don't need him in the sense where he's not going to start. Do you see what I'm saying? So he has to
agree.
get used to coming off the bench or getting, cup games. I don't think he wants that because he's actually playing well. So
particularly if we're playing with one up front,
he's going to be behind Kane. So he's going to have to wait for his chances. Whereas at Southampton, he's the king of the castle. So I don't really see why he would even move.
If we played the formation that we played against West Ham with the two up front, I could see us getting another striker like him, or someone we talked about Tammy Abrahams as well, someone like that to play alongside Wilson and have a partnership. But if we're playing one up top, we're not going to go out and get a Danny Ings or a Tammy Abrahams because they're not going to want to sit on the bench. If they're going to come on loan from, or they're going to come as a permanent signing from Southampton or a loan from Chelsea or wherever, they're going to come to play and they're going to want to play every week. And their managers are going to want them to play every week. And if we've just signed 20 million on Callum Wilson, the likelihood is they're not going to play.
He wants to play every week.
There you go. So it's going to be a striker that's going to be still got the experience. And we've talked about Troy Deeney before. We've talked about him. He's going to be someone that's got experience, but also at the same time is going to be happy to be that squad player and come on and make an impact. And he could do that. So, we'd love a Danny Ings or Tammy Abrahams if it's going to fit that formation, that system. But who knows?
I mean, there was me thinking I was going to skip over Danny Ings, but apparently not. Okay. Centre-half wise, I was just going to throw this one into there. I thought we should maybe go for Tomori at Chelsea because I don't think he's going to get a look in this season. But hey ho, that's another thing altogether. Great. I want to get into Keith's question though, because this is a very good one. So Gillespie or Darlow? So obviously Darlow started the first game of the season, didn't concede. Gillespie started obviously the other day, didn't concede. Obviously it was against Blackburn. So going into this third one, who gets the number one shirt? Obviously, Dubravka's got the number one shirt, but who gets the goalkeeper shirt for against Brighton? Marv, do you wanna go on this one?
Yeah, for me, it's like I'm a big advocate of whoever's in position of the shirt at that time. So I know that Gillespie played in the cup game, but in the Premiership games, Darlow's playing. So until he messes up or does something serious, I play Darlow in the Premiership games till Dubravka's back, and I'll play Gillespie in the cup games. So the cup games are coming thick and fast, so they'll both be playing each week. So that's what I do. It's a set. You want to settle back five until such time. So just keep it the same way. You got Darlow and then Fernandez and Lascelles in front, and then Lewis and Manquillo either way until Dubravka's back. That's the back five I do every Prem game. Okay,
Pete. Any different thoughts to that at all?
100% agree with Marv. Unless you're forced to make that change, so unless Dubravka comes back, or you're forced to make a change in terms of injury or really poor performances, you stick with who you've got in goal. Like you said, like Marv said, you want a settled back five. It's very rare that a good team or a quality team or a team in the top at the top level chops and changes their goalkeeper. It's very rare that they do that. So Darlow started. He's not conceded. He played okay. I actually think Gillespie's attributes are better, but Darlow's played well. So it would be harsh to take him out of the team. He should start against Brighton. I still worry about that position. I'm hoping and praying that Dubravka makes a miracle return a couple of weeks earlier than scheduled. I think he's still probably maybe 3 or 4 weeks away. I'm hoping he comes back a little bit earlier, but definitely 100% Darlow at the moment.
Fumbi, I feel like you got something witty to say. I'm just watching you smile there.
I was gonna go with Shay Given. You see what I'm saying? But,
I knew there was something coming out as well. I knew there was something coming out.
In current form, it's still better.
Whereas he's not available, I would say, let's just start with Darlow. I don't think he's a bad keeper, but the way Pete keeps talking about it, it just makes me scared now, innit? So
he's trash. He's trash, man. He's trash. He is.
So I would say,
Pete, as Pete and Fumbi switched over, like Pete's saying everyone's trash, Fumbi's all full of praise and all the rest of it. I feel like these two are switched over for some reason.
I just love the way he says it, man.
I'm just saying, I haven't seen how bad he is. That's what I mean. I haven't seen the errors that everyone's talking about. But I'm jittery because it's like, is he a panic guy? So he had a good start. It looks like he's on it. So, he's a good shot stopper. He can dive. But I don't know about his understanding of the box. I don't know. So we'll start with him, keep the team happy. let's not, tinker too much. Carroll, take him out, but keep the goalkeeper.
What's your beef with Carroll? Has he slept with your girls?
Well.
What's going on?
The football's not sexy when Carroll's on. It's just not sexy. Doesn't turn me on.
You're trying to go back to Rude Hullet days. The football's not sexy. Yeah.
Oh my God!
You know what I mean? I know the
wanna
football's
see-
sexy. Listen, it gets us up the pitch. It does what we need to do. That's it, bro. Like, I'm not getting into it, bro. Right, last thing. We've got to go back to this game. So let's get some score predictions and all the rest of it. How's it gonna go? That sort of stuff. Yada yada yada. Marv, kick us off, bro.
1-0, and I think it'll be quite late on as well.
Okay. Goal scorers at all? Any goal scorers? Sorry.
I'm gonna go with Almiron's gonna score.
Okay,
Ooh,
that would make sense as it goes. He's assisted twice already. He's hungry. Gets a goal.
He's on job, as we say. He's on job.
There we go.
Ooh.
There we go. Pete, what are you saying, bro?
I'm going 2-1. As Marv's alluded to, these games are always tight. Neither team gives much away, particularly at St James's. It's always a tight game. They're going to come and they're going to try and be difficult to break down. If we can get the early goal, I think that will really open up the game, because they're going to have to then come out and attack us. But I think with the firepower we've got and the creativity that we've got and the choices that we've got now going forward, I think there'll be a couple of goals in this. But again, Darlow's the concern. I think that's why we'll probably concede. But yeah, I think we win, and we should be confident in winning, because these are the games that we should be taking points off. We were unsure about what West Ham team we were going to get last week, and we outplayed them. But games like Brighton at home, we should be taking 3 points from. If we're looking to kick on as a team, that's what we need to be doing. So 2-1.
We've got to keep our top 4 position.
Oh God, here we go. Hey, I really hope that Darlow has an absolute worldie, and you're coming back like, yo, Darlow is the king.
What do I always say though? What do I always say? I want those players to prove me wrong.
I do as well.
To come out and I'm calling him trash. I want him to come out and put a worldie performance in, and get us the 3 points. And I'm quite gladly hold my hands up and say, you know what, fair play. I did it last week. With West Ham, I weren't confident in him. I thought we'd concede goals. We didn't. Held my hands up and said, fair play, he deserves another crack. But doesn't mean that he's still not trash.
To be fair, I always get accused of that. I used to flip in. I slated Shelby last season. He went on and scored a goal or two. Slated Almiron, he went and scored a goal or two. So you never know. You slate Darlow, he might come out with flipping worldie saves left, right, and centre.
Hope so.
Right, Mr. Fumbi, last but no means least, what we got?
I'm saying 3-1, Darlow hat-trick.
Hey, if that happens, boy, I don't know, man. I don't know.
Nah, I'm saying 3-1.
3-1, okay.
Yeah, I'm saying 3-1. Goal
scorers
to
Brighton, yeah?
To us, fam. And Miggy as well.
So was that, you say Carroll scoring 2, yeah?
Yeah, Callum McCuffin and Miggy.
No, you said Carroll. Is that what you said? Carroll.
No, Callum, not Carroll.
What do you say? You said Carroll scoring 2, yeah? Oh, okay.
Callum
so
is there a couple and Miggy.
Oh, okay. So you said Carroll 2 and Miggy. Okay, cool. So he's back in Andy Carroll, this boy.
I think we're gonna enjoy this game, and I think we're coming with the dance. I just feel good about this game.
Okay. Listen, you said that out now. If it goes badly, this can be clipped up, and it can be used against you in all of your comedy sketches, all in the shows that you go to. Like, oh, you thought Brighton was going to get game.
If it goes bad, I'm blaming Carroll. That's it. I'm starting early. Blaming Carroll if it goes bad. I don't care if he scored 2 goals. I'm blaming him for the loss.
Blaming him, he didn't get a hat trick.
Right. So we're all going to be on Carroll watch. We're all going to be on Darlow watch. Marv, who are you going to be watching for the game? Because these two.
I was on his back last week, but you know what, Jeff Hendrick.
Okay.
Might have to start him again. Keep possession of the shirt until he messes up. Is another one.
Okay, so all right, there's the 3 players to watch. In fact, I'm going to throw a player into the match. Into the mix. I'm going to throw Joe Linton. Joe Linton's come off the bench, bag of brace, and there we go. Now, listen, you're saying Darlow, Fumbi, you're saying Pippin, Carroll, stop getting onto Carroll. Marv saying Hendrick. I'm saying Joe Linton. Joe Linton coming off 2.
I get it, but I hope my man's not even coming off the bench. Now we've got Ryan Fraser with 60 minutes under his belt. He takes that substitution, so Joe Linton could just sit up in the stands.
I'm throwing it out there now that Hendrick gets more goals than Joe Linton this season.
He
already has.
He's already ahead.
It's over. It's over.
Man.
Hey, when Joe Linton came off the bench here, I felt so sorry for him, man. I must score today. Callum's already gone and scored. I felt so bad for him, man.
He just wants to earn a decent living, bless him.
Hey, if that was me, I'd be taking shots from the halfway line. I don't give a. I'm scoring today. I'll be shooting from everyone.
Are you happy he kept the shirt, the number 9?
Yeah,
it's
the player that counts.
Okay.
Yeah, let's scrap that.
Hey, Callum went number 206 as long as he scores goals.
Yeah, fair enough.
All right, we'll end it there, guys. Cheers, guys, for watching and listening in. And Marv, Fumbi, Pete, thanks for joining in as well, guys. Obviously, we're looking forward to the game. We'll be chatting after the game. We might even be chatting during the game. We might have to come to some sort of agreement on that, but you never know. Stay lots, and thank you guys for joining us, and enjoy the rest of your evening. Peace.
See you later, boys.
See you later, boys.